Today is November 10th. We're coming up on the 6th Shabbat since the war between Israel, Hamas, and Hezbollah broke out on October 7th. Let's look at some weekend newspapers in Israel. Haaretz says that the Islamic Jihad, the Jihad Islami, released 2 new videos of abductees, of those who were kidnapped in Gaza, and they're showing a sign of life. The Marker says, Malkodet Shifa, the trap of Shifa. Shifa is the hospital in the middle of Gaza. It's one of the main medical centers in Gaza. And it says it was the flagship project, Project Degel Shel Israel of Israel, since the time that Israel still controlled Gaza. And since, just before October 7th, there were still many Jewish Israeli doctors who were operating about 50 operations a month, it says, and the Palestinian management in the Shifa Hospital is identifying with the Palestinian side, and the Shifa Hospital became one of Israel's impossible dilemmas. It's a symbol of the impossible dilemmas that Israel is facing in this war, because the terrorists of Hamas are hiding inside the hospital and underneath the hospital. Yediot Achronot. Tachat Esh Belev Aza, under gunfire in the heart of Gaza. And the Israelis soldiers are very, very deep. They're in the core of the Gaza city. And they say, we cannot get any closer to Shifa. We are so close. Under us, Hamas is managing the war. Next to us are tanks that are shooting so much, in a crazy speed, shooting missiles. Above us, we have the threat of the anti-tank missile, and the fire is nonstop. Next headline reads, 239 abductees, and it's the 6th Shabbat in the hands of Hamas. And we know it was 240, but it's 239 now because one was found dead and not alive. 2 other soldiers also were killed in the last few days. I'll now open the newspaper. We'll read the first main article. It reads, Ot Chaim Me'aza, a sign of life from Gaza. The Islamic Jihad, released a video where these 2 abductees are showing a sign of life. This is Yaakov, he's 12 years old, and Hannah, she's in her 70s. Officials in Jerusalem say that the exchange is not ready yet, but there needs to be patience. But they're not stopping the war. The next headline reads, Sipur Hatzalah, a story of rescue. And this is a special article about the unit called 669, 669, which is a special unit, an elite one, that's focused on saving and rescuing the Israeli soldiers that are getting injured during the war. It says it is professional, they're fast. A paramedic says that older doctors are doing such amazing procedures that I didn't know existed, says the paramedic. It looks like a movie. They've saved many, many lives already. The next headline is Milchama Rechavat Hekef, which means a large-scale war. And this is about the Houthim from Yemen that are shooting more missiles from Yemen towards southern Israel, Eilat, which is the most southern city, yesterday. These are about the heroes that will not return, those who are fallen. It says, Hagiburim, the heroes, Shelo Yashuvu, that will not return. And here is Roni Eshel, she's 19 years old. Israel thought she was abducted, but her body was found dead, identified as dead yesterday. And here is Eliyahu, he's 29 years old. He was killed. And Moshe, he's 32 years old. He was killed. The next headline is about a minibus in Hebrew. Minibus hamavet besderot, the deadly minibus in Sderot, and about the last photographs from there. Tiyul HaShabbat, the trip of Shabbat, ended with the murder of all of its members. And this is a group of Holocaust survivors that were going to go to the Dead Sea. They stopped in Sderot to pick up some friends, and they were shot and killed by terrorists, all of them. The next headline, Israel במלחמה, Israel's at war. Hamorim, the teachers, שלא שוכחים, that are not forgetting their abducted students. And this is about a high school having a shiur begagua, a lesson in longing. It's a high school that has lost many of its students, and many of them have been abducted. They're placing outside on the sidewalk empty chairs and tables and calling for a head count of the students. And of course, they're hearing silence. They're going to do this every day at 8:30 as part of their fight for the return of the students back home. The next article, Sirton Hazvaot, the horrific video of the attacks, did not shake Hollywood. This is about the video that was broadcasted in LA and didn't seem like it shook anybody. They say the problem is showing it to pro-Israel supporters is not going to make a difference. This video needs to be broadcasted in the campuses in America where there's so many pro-Palestinians. This is an article about Russia and China. In Moscow and Beijing, Moskva and Beijing, they're taking a pro-Palestinian approach, and they're not going against Hamas and the horrific attack on October 7th. Not because the Palestinians and their future is so important to the Russians and China, but because Russia and China are determined in drastically decreasing America's presence in the world, and they want to increase and strengthen the anti-Western sentiment in the world. And the war in Gaza is a perfect opportunity to do so, and they're using it to spread propaganda pro-Hamas and against Israel and the United States. In the photos, we see top officials from China meeting Putin in Russia, and even Hamas, it says, wants to cooperate with Russia and China. The next headline is about anti-Semitism in the world. It reads, "Why did I hide my mezuzah?" Here's a big advertisement just to give you a sense of life in Israel. It's an advertisement about a vigil happening tomorrow night with a picture of the Israeli officials, Prime Minister, Chief of Staff, Minister of Defense, and it reads, "Hachaim shelahem," their lives, "bayadayim shelachem," or in your hands. It's of course about the hostages, asking for their release now. So the hostages is very much preoccupying Israelis' minds. This article is about Meir. He's a special needs soldier that's fighting to fight. He has proven that he can fight, and he's just continuing to fight. It takes a lot for a special needs soldier to be able to fight in a combat unit. The last article here are letters from fathers in Gaza. They have left their wives and children, and they're sending their love letters to their families. It reads, "Be'ahava me'aza," with love from Gaza, Abba, Father. These have been the main headlines in the Hebrew newspapers for this special weekend edition. Please, for more stories, go to All Israel News. Follow us on social media and YouTube. Please share these stories with your friends. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News. Shabbat Shalom.